Good morning everyone. My name is Arslan and you are watching Proper Tech Tutorial. So welcome back to the series of learning Siemens NX from beginner to pro. And in this video we'll be starting part 11 and I'll show you the syllabus for your reference. So part 11 basically consists of creating datum and sketch, and the first two topics will be creating datum coordinate system and plane, and utilizing these two concepts you can utilize other concepts such as creating datum axis, etc. And the third topic will be creating sketch and sketch editing mode. That there are two sketch editing mode. That one is the normal mode and another this editing mode with rollback, and fifth is the important options which are available while creating or starting a sketch. So let's start. So first of all, we will open a new file. I will name it sketch and data, and just let me get the location. Okay, so now we have a new file for this training purpose, and I'll show you how to create a datum coordinate system. That is the first topic. First of all, we will delete what is available as of now. So currently in the model history, you can see that there are no things available, and we have to create a datum coordinate system in order to do anything in the what you can see in the NX environment or the display environment. Even if you will have to use a feature which does not use any sketch based things in order to get a 3D output, then also you will have to specify a point, and that for that you will need to have a coordinate system. So finally, the conclusion is that in order to do anything correctly and precisely, in order to specify its location, its starting point and its ending point, you need to have a datum coordinate system. So either you can use the datum coordinate system from the tabs part, or you can just write in the section in the search part datum, and you will get all the things which are related to the datum. So we'll be covering datum coordinate system and datum plane. So first of all, let us use datum coordinate system, and it will give you number of options in order to specify the datum coordinate system. So these options are useful when you need to the like options other than uh, the first one, that the x-axis, z-axis, y plane and three planes, etc. are useful when you need to specify another datum coordinate system. That is, you have a datum coordinate system, but for the sake of another sketch, or for the sake of any other 3D modeling purpose, for its easiness and its feasibility, you are trying to specify another sketch datum coordinate system, you are trying to specify another datum coordinate system, then these options are much useful. So as of now, we will not be selecting anything. We'll just be using whatever that is there, and you can see that x, y, z are at 0, 0 and 0. That is, it is at its absolute origin. We'll do apply and then we'll click on cancel, or you can directly click on OK, and that will also give you a datum coordinate system specified at 0, 0, 0, as you can see. Okay, so after creating this datum coordinate system, we will create another datum coordinate system just to let you know what is the use of other options. So for example, I want to create another datum coordinate system and I want to specify it. So I will do what? I will click on the point dialog and I will show you once again. I went too fast. So this is the dynamic portion. You can either click on dynamic or the inferred, and or you can click on x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. I'll show you the x-y axis origin. So you can specify the point that is to be mentioned. So first we'll go into the xy plane, and you can see that we have the xy plane available, and now we will select the point. Okay, we have selected it, and now we will specify the vector for x-axis, that is this, and then we will specify the vector for y-axis. In case your dialog box selection does not automatically grow from point to vector to this vector, you can either click it manually, like it is still on the point and you need to specify a vector, you can either click it manually, or you can just, after specifying a point, you can click on the middle scroll wheel present in the mouse, so it will take you to that. So again, I need to specify that. Also, in case you want to specify another point, then what you will have to do is that we will delete this coordinate system because it is not of use. We'll create another datum coordinate system, and we will first specify vector x-axis, then we will specify y-axis, and then we'll specify a point. So you can see that this point has been selected as the new datum coordinate system, and you have now two datum coordinates. Another way of making a coordinate system is that you can go into the datum coordinate, and similarly you can use this method for z-axis, z-axis, y-axis, and all of them. Another method of creating a datum coordinate system is that is much preferred or and much easier for people to do, is that you can use this option of point dialog in the dynamic section, and you can click on that, a left click, and after that what you can do is you can select where is that? Okay, so it is not over here. We can select the rectangular part, and after that you can see that it is as of now 0, 0, and 0, and we are in the XY plane. If I want to rotate this plane, I want to have the datum coordinate system in the YZ plane. What will I do? I will put a value over here 100, and I will put a value over here 100, and you can see that it has selected a new point in the YZ plane. Also, if I want to further extend this 100 and 100 in the Y and Z axis respectively, I can add another value with in the reference section. For example, I add over here 50. So it will get additionally in the y-axis 50. So now it is 150 from the absolute origin. And if I add over here also 50, it will also become 150. So you can see that these 2 points represent the reference points, the new reference points for y and z axis, and these values represent the distance from that reference of the new coordinate system. So if I click OK and then I click apply, you will see that we have got another datum coordinate system in the YZ plane. You can see that in the Z plane it is in the 150 because 50 was taken as the reference, and in the Y axis it is also in the 150, it was taken as the reference. If you want to edit this any of the datum coordinate system, if you see that if we go into the XY plane, you can see that it is XY plane, and this XY plane are placed at a particular distance that is mentioned over here. We specified by selecting a point, so no values have been selected. So that was the thing. Another way of was when which we used for the YZ plane, and that is this. You can see that is specified with respect to the values mentioned in the reference and the values mentioned for the placement of the origin with respect to a reference. If we want to edit it again, we just have to double click, left double click on datum coordinate system, whichever one we need to edit, or you can do a right click and you can click on edit with rollback, and you can specify the point values again. So you see that now it has added the offset. The offset was selected as rectangular, and 100 and 100 were written in the YZ section, and the reference section had Y and Z as 50-50. So it has added it up and made it 150 cumulatively. So if you want to give it an offset with respect to this again, you can either use this YZ again, or you can just write it over here and make it 50 and 50, and you will get the desired result. Also, if you see that you do not want to make change these values, then what you have to do, you need to minus 100 and minus 100, and you will get the exactly same result. So this is also a method of editing by using offset. Another method is by using of reference. Now we come to the topic of creating datum plane. By clicking in the search option, search box datum, you will get the different options and you will select the datum plane. And after selecting the datum plane, we'll get the option of creating a planar object. This will be much better understood if I create a sketch, I make an extrude and then show it to you. So first we will move on to the topic of creating a sketch and sketch editing mode. And then we will come back to the creating datum plane. Okay, so now let us delete these two coordinate system. They are of no use as of now and will create unnecessary confusion. So this coordinate system has the absolute origin 0, 0, 0, and this will be used for this video purpose. So we have already seen in the one of our previous videos as to why sketch in task environment is better, and in the older versions of NX, and if you are using a modern version of NX, then latest version of NX, then you will have no difference in sketch and sketch in task environment. However, I like to keep them in handy, so I place all of them here. And how to edit the ribbons, you can check out the video titled as ribbon customization. So I'll click on sketch in task environment and I will select a plane. So I have selected the XY plane just as a standard, and you will see that the sketch has been created. The sketch area has been created and I can create anything over here, and further I can apply any of the sketch operations. If I want to apply the trim operations, I can apply that easily. If I want to apply the extend operation, and I can apply them easily. Now coming to the options of sketch, you can see that what are the options that are available in while making a sketch. So let us come through another plane so that we get to understand it much more easier. So first is creating sketch on a plane and creating sketch on a path. So creating sketch on a path is much more used when you have to make a sweep along guide, or you have to make a curve object which has its shape defined by an equation, etc. So that is used then. Or if you have to create a sketch on the end or the middle or the start of any particular arc, curve, or path, then you use on path. So we'll use as of now on plane, and we will select the plane. So we are currently in the YZ plane, and we'll select the YZ plane. And if you want, and if you will click on OK, you will get the sketch somewhat like this. That is, the Y will be on the right side and Z will be on the upper side. If you want to not have this kind of orientation, you can click on the reverse direction method and you will get Z in the downward direction and Y in the left direction. That is, you will get Y dash and Z dash. So this method, reverse horizontal direction, the button having arrows on both the sides, is known as the reverse direction method. Another way is specifying origin or point. So specifying origin on point, you will click on the point dialog box and you will click on it and you will get various options of selecting a point. So currently we will not choose any and we'll just use the basic operations. And as we will proceed further, while making sketches and while making models, we will get to know many other options that are available in sketch, or the operations that are much more easier and more profoundly used in sketch environment. So one way is by using a rectangle button. You can either put the reference or you can use the rectangular. Either one you can use, or you can use a vector. For example, if you want to have its offset only in one direction, then what you will do is that you will select this. Sorry, it selected the plane. So you will select along vector and you will select this direction of the vector, that is y direction, and after that you will put any distance. So for example, I want to put it at 500. So now my sketch origin will be created over here. You understand that? If I want to have it at minus 500, I can just put minus 500 and it will be like that. If you want to put it along the curve, then what you can do, you can select this curve just like we talked about on a path. If you want to have it, you select this curve, and after that you can just use this curve as a reference, and you can put value over here. For example, I want to you put it at 100, then it will get translated in the designated direction at 100. If I want to put it at 200, I will write 200 and it will get at that value. If I want to put it at the other end of the curve, I will put it minus 200 and it will get translated in the minus 200. Also, if you want to select any different curve, then what you can do, just refresh it and use along curve, and you will select this curve and you will see the option of moving the point. You can either click the point on this direction or this direction. You can select the direction, and or you can use the minus sign or plus sign to reverse the direction, and you can put the value over here, and you can see that it has got translated to 200 on the direction of the vector which you have chosen. If I select this direction, it will get translated in this direction without putting a minus sign. So, okay. So I think that this was understood by all of you. Another method of doing on a curve is that I will go back in this sketch environment. I will take a circle and I will create one and close the dialog box, finish it, and then I will go back and I will have another option of creating a sketch, and I will select on a path. After selecting on a path, I will use it. I will click on the curve on the path, whatever it is. See, path is any curve which is not linear, which is not straight. So a path is a combination of something which is not straight and straight. That can be called a path. If you select a curve, that is, for example, it is a circle or an arc. If you select a polygon, like it is a square, a hexagon, or a pentagon, etc. If you select on a plane, then it is definitely a plane. If you select a line, then so these words are very like meaning, their meanings are very literal. So I will select on a path. After that, I have the options of arc length, percent arc, and through point. So through point has the option of you moving the point anywhere as per your dynamic my mouse control. Okay, the same option was also available when we selected on a plane, and we selected a plane like this, and then we went in the point dialog, then we used the along curve, then we used this, and then after that arc length. So it had the option of selecting the arc length, but it did not allow us to move it as per as our dynamic movement. So we had to enter values over here. For example, I want to enter 300, it will get translated to 300. I want to select 600, it will get translated to 600. So that was the option. So now coming back to the topic, I have selected on a path, and after selecting, the option of through point is like this. The arc length is somewhat like this. So this is the total arc length. If I want to select it like only 1000, it will get translated over here with reference to this point. Okay, now you have another options of like plane orientation, that is normal to path or normal to vector. So that is something which is to be understood. So normal to path means that your sketch environment will be created in the oh, I misclicked it. So normal to path means that your sketch environment will be created in the same plane as that of the curve. That is, if you see, sorry, it will be created in the tangent of that curve. I'm sorry for that. So when you select the option, I will just show you how to create it, because I am not feeling well as of now. So I will just use through point. I will select this point. First I need to select a path. I will select this path, and then you can see that we can specify the point using through point. I selected the wrong point. I will select the on path. I will select the path. I will select the through point, and then we can move it accordingly. If I want to reverse it, it can get reversed. So we had another thing which is normal to path. So normal to path means that this path will create you this type of plane, that is in the xz plane. Understand that? If I want to create normal to vector, then you can specify the vector along which you need to create. For example, I selected this point. Just a minute. I selected this point. I'll refresh it on a path, select a path, and through point. I will select this. I have selected it like this. Okay. So this has been selected, and you see that it is perpendicular to the path. That is, it is tangent. It is perpendicular to the tangent. So if we take a normal of that plane, it will coincide with the tangent of the curve or the path. If we select normal to the vector, then you can see that you have the option of selecting the normal to the vector. So if I select this, I will get the same plane as that which we had earlier. If I select this, I will get, I will have the same thing. Only the thing is that the orientation will be different. If I select this, it will be somewhat like this in this direction, because this is the normal, and the normal of the plane will be like this. If I select again this, it will have like this. If I select like this, then it will give you the plane in the same plane as that of the path. So this allows you to select any of the three axes in which you want the plane to be. Another thing is parallel to a vector. That is, first you had perpendicular to a vector, normal to a vector, and now you have something which is known as parallel to a vector. So if you select this, you will have a parallel with this. If you select this, you will have it parallel to this vector. So these are various options which are available in while creating a sketch on a path and on a plane. And through axis means like it will be through, or going through the axis. For example, if I select this axis, you will see that it is in the same plane as that of the parallel to vector. So through axis and parallel to vector may sometimes give you the same result, and sometimes will give you distinct results. So since it was a basic sketch, it gave you the same similar result, and when as you will go to the complex side, you will have different results which will help you achieve the results much more easily. So we have understood the difference in on a path and on a plane. And on a plane various options to you have various options to select the origin point. You can either use the rectangular, cylindrical, spherical, etc. If you will select spherical, then you can input the values with respect to that of a sphere. You can select a cylindrical, and you can input the values with respect to that of a cylindrical. Also, the thing to be noted here is that if you want to specify, for example, you have selected the XY plane, understood? And I will just put it to none, and I will specify X at 500, I will specify Y at 500, and then I will specify Z also at 500. So you will see that this will have the effect of something like this. But the sketch will be created in the same plane as that of the plane or as that of the datum coordinate system. So the plane cannot be translated unless you have made a datum plane previously. So if I click on OK, even though the point dialog box has 500 in the Z axis, my sketch will be created in the same plane as that of the XY axis, and Z translation will not occur and it will be null and void. So even though Z axis was represented to be was written to be at 500 offset, but it was not at 500 offset. So if I want to have an offset, what will I do? That I will have the option of creating a datum plane. After that, I wanted to have a plane at Z axis. I wanted to create a sketch at 500. So what I will do is that I will select a planar object, that is Z. So any planar object can be selected. I selected this, and after that you can select the offset distance. It is 500. Just to be sure, I will see if the direction of the offset is same. If not, I will just reverse it. So it was correct, so I will undo the reverse, and the 500 offset has been achieved, and therefore I will click on apply. Also, you can make the length and breadth much more bigger, like I want to have it like I'm sorry for that, 500 was selected and distance was selected, planar object was selected. Just let me delete this as of now. Okay, so I will create the datum plane again, and I will select the planar object. I will orient it in XY plane. I will select this, and after that I have put in it at offset, and I will make this much bigger just for the sake of visualization, and I will click on apply, and I will click on cancel, or you can directly click on OK and the dialog box will close after creating the datum plane successfully. Now, if I want to see that the sketch which was made in the XY axis, I want to make the XY axis in the 500. What will I do? I will just make a new sketch on a plane. I will select the plane as this one, since it is at 500. Then I will click on point dialog box and I will put X and Y at 500 and 500, and you will see that the sketch has been created at 500 and 500. I think there is some rendering issue because of the recording. CPU is unable to hold that much of rendering. So you see that it is having origin at 500 offset in Z axis. Okay, I'll just finish it just to show you a result, that is this sketch. I'll just make some things in that will be much easier. Let me make a circle. After that I will close it, then I will go back to this sketch. I will make another circle. I will close it, finish it. I will go back to this sketch. I will create another circle. I will close it, and I will go into this sketch and create another circle, and I will close it. And this sketch has already some sketches. So if you see that this sketch was created at the origin, exact origin, this sketch was created in the YZ plane, this sketch was created in the XY plane with an offset of some value, and this sketch was created with an offset of 500 and 500. and or something like that, and this sketch was created at this offset. So you can see that it is having offset of z axis. So the point I wanted to let you know is that see, creating datum axis we have covered, creating a sketch we covered, and a sketch editing mode. I will let you know one or two all points still remain. I will let you know about that. So datum plane offers you the option of creating a sketch or a datum coordinate or sketch in a plane that is perpendicular to the plane selected. That gives you the option of having an offset in a perpendicular direction to that of the selected plane. For example, I selected the plane XY and I offset it at 500, 500, and I also want the 500 offset to be at Z axis. Then I need to create a datum plane, and that datum plane will be selected as the plane for creating a sketch, and X and Y axis 500, 500 will be input in that. We learned about creating sketch and sketch editing mode. Only one or three things remain. What we'll do is that, see, first is editing sketch with rollback. You can right click on the sketch, the concerned sketch, and you can click on edit with rollback. The second option is edit just like that. So one thing which I would like to let you know and I would suggest you to do is that go in the file menu, go in the utilities option drop down, and go in the customer defaults. After that, go in the sketch environment. After that, you go into the session settings and part settings. No, sorry, go in the where is the editing with rollback? I think that it is in the modeling section. Yeah. So in the modeling section, you will see that you have the option of feature double click action, edit with rollback, and sketch double click action, edit with rollback. So I would suggest you all to please select this option, edit with rollback and edit with rollback, as this will allow you to edit that feature, that sketch or that model in the same environment as the environment which you had selected while creating it. If you will have a direct edit, it might be that there are some things which are not present that were selected custom by you. So edit with rollback, apply, and then OK. Some people try to go in the preferences and then in the sketch environment and session settings. I think I went in the wrong place. Preferences, modeling, and you see that in the edit, they've selected it with rollback. So this option of changing preferences in this, of changing user preferences from this drop down menu of preferences in modeling, sketch, and assemblies has the drawback that if you uninstall the Siemens or you have any issue with the license, then it might get reset to the factory reset settings of the Siemens NX. However, if you will change anything using the utilities section of the file menu dropdown using customer defaults and apply it and save it, and after that go into the resource bar in the roles option, user option, and then in your custom role, and then click on that save role and then apply. Then even if you uninstall the Siemens, even if you change its license while you are upgrading to a newer version of NX or you are changing anything, so it will still have the same preferences as set by you. This thing is also discussed by me in the creating custom rule option and user interface option. So part 3 and 4, do check it out. So with this, we summarize our part 11 video. Important options in sketch were discussed, while create a sketch, sketch editing mode have been discussed, edit with rollback and direct edit, creating datum coordinate system and creating datum plane and what are its benefits. In the next video, we'll be starting with part 12, that is basic curves and basic drafting tools. And if in case you are liking this series, do hit the subscribe button. And if you want to suggest this to someone, do share it, like it. And if you want to suggest us anything, that we should incorporate, then comment in the comment section and we'll definitely respond. So till the next time we meet, goodbye.